Hello everybody and welcome to this week's video. So today we're going to do a second lesson working on the spine. So look after yourselves, don't do anything that I suggest unless it feels right for you. And we're just going to start very simply as usual with the hands like this and spreading the fingers really wide, and then making fists, and then working with this for about a minute. So just opening and closing the hands as fast as you can, making wide hands and then closed tight fists. Beautiful. Trying to keep the rest of the body as relaxed as you can. It's not that easy. All anybody can ask is that you do the best that you can. Sorry if you can hear a noise in the background, that's Clive mowing the lawn. Okay, so now we're going to open the fists really wide and then gently drop them down onto the body. So I don't know about you, but for me it's getting so much easier doing that because I'm doing it regularly now. So we're going to bring the arms up over the head, really stretching through the fingers, opening the fingers, the hands out as wide as possible, and then bringing them round the other way. And then again, working with that, going backwards and forwards as fast as you can. Don't stop. You might not be able to go as fast as I'm going, but just do what you can. One way and then the other, all the way round. So really taking it to both directions as far as you can. About another 20 seconds. Beautiful. So then we're going to stretch the fingers up, really spreading the fingers wide, and then relax and drop the hands down. And just spend a moment just being with that. Lovely. So we're going to come and sit. So you can kneel if that's more comfortable, or you can sit with your legs outstretched if that works for you, or with your legs crossed if that's okay for you. So whatever works for you. And we're going to raise the arms up above the body. Clive's coming right past with the lawnmower now, but it's all right. And then we're going to drop down. So one hand going down to the opposite knee, other hand out behind. And from here we're raising up. So raising up through the crown chakra, and then exhaling into the twist. So rising up on the inhale, exhaling into the twist. One more of those. So as you breathe in, really feeling yourself rising up high through the crown, exhaling into the twist. So then we're going to come back to the front. So arms coming all the way up above the head, and exhale going the other way. So other hand to the knee, and when you get to the side, inhale, rising up through the crown chakra, and exhaling into the twist. Couple more breaths like that. That's it, exhaling in. One more, rising up on the inhale, and turning more into the twist on the exhale. Beautiful. So we bring the arms back up over the head, stretch through the fingers, really feel how that really opens the spine, and then we're going to drop the hands down onto the ground in front of you, trying to keep the sit bones down, bringing the hands just as far forward as they'll come, dropping the weight of the head down. Then we're going to walk the hands over to one side. We did this last week, but we did it with open legs. So we're doing it cross-legged today, and just let the weight of the head drop and feel how, I can feel how that's really opening up my lumbar spine here. Beautiful. So then we're going to walk through the other way, all the way over to the other side and dropping the weight. Feels very different on this side because of the different cross of the leg. So if your legs are crossed, one side will feel different to the other. And then coming back and coming and sitting up. So I'm going to move now, but just so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to sit to the side. I've got my block that I like to just sit on the edge of, and it just helps me to sit up nice and straight. So I'm going to take one leg out long along the ground like this, and the other one I'm going to have next to me here. Now, if you can comfortably bring the foot over the other, cross it over the other side and still have the knee upright like that, then that's fine. If when you do that you're ending up like that because the leg doesn't come across easily, just keep it on the same side as the hip. So whichever works for you. So then from here, what we're going to do then is we're going to take the opposite either hand or elbow around that knee. And then we're going to, so this is just another twist, which is so good for the spine. So taking the other hand out behind. So from here, we're doing the same thing that we were doing when we were sitting cross-legged. Inhale, rising up through the crown chakra, and then exhaling, just moving into the twist. So I'm feeling like I need to move my arm a bit further back this way to make me comfortable. Inhale, rising up through the crown. Exhale into the twist. One more of those. Beautiful. And then coming back, undoing that foot, and I'm going to take the other one out long. So just working out what's going to be right for you. If having the foot crossed over works for you, then that's good. If not, then don't do it. So for me, it's like I've got a bit of a belly here, so pulling my belly through, but even so, that's a bit too much for me. I mean, it might be that you're really flexible and that works. For me, it's better for me to have my hand, my sort of hand and wrist over my knee, taking the other hand behind me. So from here, raising up through the crown chakra, pushing through the heel of the lower foot, exhaling into the twist. Couple more of those. Inhale, rising up. Exhaling into the twist. Inhale, rising up. Exhale into the twist. Beautiful. So we're going to come and lie down on the back now. Okay, and I'm going to invite you to come into semi-supine. So with the knees bent, heels behind the bottom, just take a moment here. Just to land with the palms of the hands down. Beautiful. So then we're going to inhale and then exhale and bring the right knee in towards the chest. Give it a really good squeeze. Maybe rotate that top foot. Both ways. And then we're going to see if we can take the lower leg long. And I'm pushing through the heel. So I'm trying to bring my toes so that they come up towards me. So this is really good for the hip. But then when I then decide that I'm going to take the foot long and bring the arms up over the chest, so I'm pointing through toes and pointing through fingers, and this really lengthens through the spine. So as you exhale rather, bringing everything in, so bringing the knee in, and I'm stretching through that lower leg, and then from here I can, if I want to, bring the head up to that knee, and that's really stretching the spine one way. And then when I inhale and take that foot down long, pointing through the toes, pointing through the fingers, that stretches it another way. So we'll do that on the others once more on each side. So bringing the knee up into the chest, squeezing in And then from here we're going to lift the head. I didn't do this on the first side, but we've done it then. Then breathing in, stretching through fingers and toes, and then exhaling the other way. So if you like doing that and you want to do a bit more of it, then please do pause the video and do it again. But we're now going to come up with our arms out to shoulder height. We're going to lift the knees up into the chest and then drop them down to one side. Now if this feels really strong on your spine, you can keep the feet down and do it like that. It's not quite so strong, so just work with what's right for you. I'm going to take my opposite hand onto the top knee, but you don't have to do that. Making sure the feet are down, and then I'm looking along the other arm. So this is also a really beautiful stretch. It's great for the spine, but it's also really good for the hips and the midriff. It's just generally a really beautiful thing to do, unless you're pregnant. Don't do this if you're pregnant. So inhaling, coming up to the top and dropping over to the other side. Just doing the same thing on this side. Seeing if you can drop this hand down, looking along the arm. Ah, beautiful. Lovely. So we're going to come back round. And we're going to come up onto all fours. So if you need a pad for your knees, have one. And we're going to sun-ray fingers, the fingers as wide as you can get them, looking down in between the thumbs with neutral spine at the moment. Okay, and then we're going to inhale, look forward, taking the spine to the floor. Exhale, taking the spine to the ceiling, looking between the knees. Working with a couple of these. Just normal old cat and cow with the breath. And then we're going to do what we did last week, which is coming back to a neutral spine, and then we're just going to begin to take some organic movements with the spine. So just doing what feels right for you into any different areas, really just going wherever's good for you and your spine, listening to your body all the time. Beautiful. And then we're going to come back to the neutral position, and we're going to take some sound, working with sound and with our body. So we're going to exhale and just sit, if you can, sit the bottom back down onto the heels. If this isn't possible, I know some people have got slightly dodgy knees, so just come back to as far as you can come if you can't sit all the way back. And then from here we're going to inhale, come all the way forwards, and you might need to bring your hands forward a little bit, and we're going to drop down, so not dumping into the hips, but just dropping the hips down to where they feel good. That's on an inhale, but we might do it differently in a minute. And then we're going to exhale and make it the sound R. So we're going to go Ah. I'm going to inhale, coming all the way back. One more of those, inhaling up. Beautiful. It's so good using sound. Sound is just such a beautiful cleansing. It's such a way of cleansing the body because it's the breath, but it's more than the breath. Lovely. So now we're going to come forward into the Sphinx. So dropping down onto the elbows here, tops of the feet down. Okay, and we're looking forward. So we've got the chin slightly lifted, and just really seeing how this feels in the back. So really bring your attention into the spine. Really being aware of what's happening in there. So I can feel this in my lower back, but I can also feel it coming right up into my upper back and into my neck bones. Breathing here. So as I breathe in, I feel my abdomen move towards the floor. As I exhale, I feel the navel moving towards the spine. Couple more breaths here. Lovely. So then I'm going to bring the hands back, coming down into a sort of position on the floor with the hands next to the boots, just underneath the shoulders. And we're going to do some cobra here. So trying to keep the tops of the feet down. And as we inhale, just rising the head and the neck up. Try not to take too much weight into the hands, and then exhale, coming down. So we're going to do a few more of those. Inhale, rising up. Exhale down. So trying to keep the feet on the ground. They might want to lift. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. And then, so we can do that once more. And then the next time you come up, only if it feels okay for you, you can raise up and see if you can hold it for a little bit. Not too much weight in the fingers, hands rather, and then exhale, coming down. And then we're going to do we're going to come back. If the child is available to you, coming back into the child, like this, and we're going to put the hands underneath, just by the eyes here, and we're going to roll forward into the rabbit. So this is a lovely counter for what we've just been doing. So maybe take the head forward a little bit, and that stretches the back out quite a lot. Beautiful. So we're going to do a little bit more of what we were doing earlier with going backwards and forwards doing the R's, but instead of just going forwards and backwards, we're going to do a bit more breath. I'll show you what I mean. So from the child, we're going to inhale up to here, and then we're going to R down. R. Inhaling back up to the top. R. So it becomes shorter but more. One more. Beautiful. So if that feels good, then you can always do some more of those. But we're now going to come forward and just do a little bit in a lunge. But first of all, just if it's available to you, just come and do a tiny bit in the toe squat. It's really good for the toes. And then I'm going to just put my knee, I've got a bit of a dodgy knee, so I like to pad my knee as I come forward into this lovely lunge. So really sending the foot as far forward so that when you lunge forward, you've still got your knee over the ankle. And then we're going to raise the arms up into this warrior one arms, which is always so good for the spine. And then dropping the hands down either side of that foot. Then we're going to come up to a twist here. So looking up at that top arm, and if you want to, lifting the back knee. Lovely. And then we're just going to come down and do that on the other side. So big step forward. Nice lunge forward, really opening this back hip. Then we're going to raise the arms up. Exhaling down, both hands either side of that foot, coming into the twist, And then only if it feels okay, lifting that back leg and looking up. Beautiful. Okay. So from here we're going to come back into the toe squat for a moment. Just for a moment. And then we're going to drop the toes down and we're just going to take the hands out behind. I'm doing fists here. And we're going to push the chest forward here. And then see if we can just open, lift up the hips a bit. And this opens the front of the thighs. In preparation, we're going to do a bit of camel in a minute. This is like a bit of preparation for camel. Maybe let's just do a little couple of hand rolls. Do that again, coming back, lifting up the hips. Beautiful. So we're going to come from here, we're going to come up into high kneeling. We're going to tuck the toes again if that's something that you can do. So from here, you can put the hands onto the hips like that. And if that's good for you, just doing this. And just taking the weight backwards. So it's a back bend here. So just not cranking the head back, but just dropping the head back a little bit, coming back into a back bend. If that's enough for you, just stay with that, just working with that. And that's fine. It's quite hard on the thighs as well, it works the thighs. So just doing what's right for you. Okay, doing your hands in whichever way is good. If it's available to you to bring one hand down onto the same ankle, you can do that and then bring the other arm up and do a little back bend like that, and that's really beautiful. It's a lovely way. And then you can swap over, do it on the other side. So take the other hand down, come up on here. So that might be enough for you. If you feel like it's possible for you to bring both hands onto the knee, onto the heels, I can just about do it, but it's quite intense. I don't really like it. If that's easy for you, then you can do that. And then we're going to come down and just do a couple of counter poses. So just dropping down onto the mat into semi-supine. Bring the arms out at shoulder height. We'll just drop the knees down to one side, looking over the other side. So it's nice and gentle. Bringing the knees up, dropping them over the other way. Again, nice and gentle. And then from here we can bring the hands down either side of the bottom. And then inhale, curling up the tailbone, just lifting up into a little bridge. Just to take a moment there. Beautiful. And then we're going to come into our Shavasana. So hands down by the sides, feet down nice and wide. And just let yourself relax here. Beautiful. So this has just been a very gentle, simple flow today. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if I don't see you this week, then maybe I'll see you sometime. If you want to donate to me, I will put the bank's details in the video. Namaste.